All right, these are your systems of equations notes. If you're doing this, this means you have completed your restaurant receipts, and these four things right here should look a lot like the receipts that were on your paper. So now, instead of using trial and error, we're actually going to write equations. So it says using B for burgers, F for fries, N for nachos, and S for soda, write equations that match each one of these four statements. So for the first one, we have 2 sodas, which would be S, and, which means plus, so this means plus. 3 burgers, which is B, should cost, so equals $18. Then using that same thing, 5 sodas and 6 burgers costs $39. We would say 5 sodas plus 6 burgers equals $39. Continuing, 2 burgers plus 2 fries plus 2 sodas should equal $18. 2 nachos plus 3 burgers plus 2 fries plus 4 sodas should equal $38. So this is 4 equations with 4 variables, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the number of equations will always match the number of variables. And when you've got 4 equations, or actually more than 2, it's called a system of equations. So if you look down here, it says, definition, when used together, these form a system of equations, which means it has 2 or more equations with 2 or more unknowns, or what we call variables. So then the blank to a system lists the values that could be used for each variable to make the equations true, or to make them check out, and this is solution. Well, you guys already found the solution to this system of equations yesterday. So when you did restaurant receipts, you figured out how much it cost for a soda and a burger and the nachos and the fries, so you found the solution. So that being the case, we're going to try those sample problems and see if we can find the solutions to some problems. So the first sample gives us 3 equations, 1, 2, 3, and it also gives us 3 variables. We have x, y, and z. So this is what we call a 3 by 3 system of equations. Again, it's because it has 3 equations, and it also has 3 variables. So then it says, which one of the following would be a solution to this system? And it gives us A, B, and C. Well, what we're going to do is plug these values in for x, y, and z up here and see if it works for all 3 equations. If it works for the first one and not for the last one, it's not the solution. So in your calculators, once you've turned them on, we're going to plug the equation in. So 2x, so 2 parentheses, x is -4. Then we have plus 3y, so plus 3 parentheses, and then we plug in our y value, which is -1. Then minus 4z, which is 2, and we hit enter. Now when we hit enter, we want it to say -3, but instead it says -19. It didn't work for the first equation, so therefore this is not the answer. So we can move on. So now we're going to do the same thing with b, and we're going to plug into the equation. So this time, 2 parentheses, this time our x value is 9.5. Then plus 3 parentheses, y is 0. Then minus 4 times parentheses, this time z is 5.5. So when I plug it in, I want to get -3 as a result. So I hit enter, and it does give me -3 as a result. So for the first equation, it works. Now we have to try the second equation. So here's our second equation, x minus z equals 4. So let's try x minus z and see if it equals 4. So x, 9.5, minus z, which is 5.5, equals 4. So it does work for the second equation. So the last one we have to try is the third equation here. So we've got negative, then x is 9.5, minus 2, parentheses, y, which is 0, plus 3z, and z is 5.5. Now again, we want the answer to be 4. I hit enter. The answer is 7. So it did not work for the third one. So again, this is not the answer. So then that means C is the answer, which means it would work in all three equations. Alright, so then let's look at number 2, the second example. This is 2 equations. So 2 equations with 2 variables, x and y. So it's a 2 by 2 system of equations. And again, these numbers will always match. If you have 2 equations, you should have 2 variables. So if we look, they gave us another example. We've got 2 equations. We've got to plug in those values to see if they work. But this time they gave them to you as an ordered pair, or like down here, this is an ordered triple. So if we plug this in for x and this in for y, we're going to see if it works. So 2 times 15 minus 7 times 3 should equal 9. So let's try it in our calculator. 2 times 15 minus 7 times 3 should equal 9, and it does. So this checks out. Now the second one's a little bit more confusing because we have a y there, but this just goes in for the y. So we would have 3 should equal 1/2 times 15 minus 3. So this is the part we're going to put in the calculator. Remember, fractions go in parentheses, so 1 divided by 2, so 1/2 times 15 minus 3 comes out to 4.5. Well, it was supposed to come out to 3. Therefore, this is not the answer. So now we do the same thing with our second ordered pair, which is 8, 1. So this is x and this is y, and I plug them into both equations. So 2 times 8 minus 7 times y, which is 1, should equal 9. So let's try it. 2 times 8 minus 7 times 1 is 9, so that one checks. And now we do the same thing with our second equation. Y is 1, so 1 should equal 1/2 times 8 minus 3. So parentheses 1/2, and then times 8, and then minus 3 comes out to 1. Well, it was supposed to come out to 1, so this one checks out. So since it works in both equations, B would be our solution. So now you guys use that same information to do 3, 4, and or just 3 and 4 at the bottom of your papers, and when you're done, I'll check it.